Hello, I'm Chris Williams from Read Comics, They're Bad For You. Or if you're watching this on my BitChute channel, Comic Freak. Today we're going to be talking about how Disney's Galaxy... I can barely say the name. Disney's Galaxy Edge. How it is empty and, well, it's indicative of the fact that Disney World and Disneyland itself are underperforming with marked decreases with people buying tickets into the park daily. This was to be expected, but not to this degree, because when Disney decided to raise the price to the Disneyland park where Disney's Galaxy Edge is being hosted, they probably expected some resistance and some outrage, but they probably didn't expect that over the 4th of July weekend that the park would basically be empty with no lines to anywhere but actually the cantina where the adults could buy drinks. That is an example of the fact that the only place actually doing well at Galaxy's Edge is the cantina where you can buy beer and other liquors. There's a long line that goes around the Millennium Falcon, as I've heard. And no one actually going into the Millennium Falcon or going to the one functional ride at Galaxy's Edge. No, they're going to the bar. Now, this problem, it pretty much exemplifies one of many problems Disney is having this summer. But it does show, there's something wrong with Disney, on top of the fact that their employers are dumpster diving for food, as well as the fact that no one is actually going into their park. Here we can see a kind of funny picture of all the actual people going into Galaxy's Edge. No, that's just some guy just mocked up a bunch of shadowy figures. The supposed people at the supposed popular Galaxy Edge resort. Well, it looks like there's no one actually there. Someone had to actually take a picture and just digitally render a bunch of ghosts actually and people being in there. It goes to show you that even the guy who did this probably knew the fact that it's just a funny joke. If this is such a popular franchise that Disney bought, the Star Wars franchise, then why isn't anyone going to the park? Because they are tired. They are tired of the bad movies that Disney is making, and they are tired of not getting the original trilogy. Because they didn't do anything good with Galaxy's Edge. They didn't have anything of the original franchise except the Millennium Falcon. And if you know anything about it, if you've heard about what Disney did to Star Tours, then you know that they shut down Star Tours just so they could make the Millennium Falcon ride, which is just an updated version of that. But apparently, they say that it's updated, but I kind of get the feeling it might not be as good as the original Star Tours. Star Tours was a Lucasfilm project that, sort of a ride that they made in Las Vegas. When Disney bought the Star Wars franchise, they shut it down. I'm pretty sure Star Tours was in Las Vegas, though. But as I said, Disney shut it down, and they decided to bring back a form of it here at the Millennium Falcon at Galaxy's Edge. But apparently, no one is actually going there. There's like 6 workers inside of the Millennium Falcon, and people go in there, but there are no lines. No one is happy to go in there. Well, if it is just an updated version of Star Tours, that means that a lot of people have already ridden the original. Why go see down maybe a watered-down version of it that has less people working on it and stuff, probably to make it more streamlined for more people to go in. But apparently, no one's excited enough to actually go in and see it. Now, it just sounds like when you go in there, you're put into an auditorium, and then you're made to sit down, and it's like you are part of one of Han Solo's crew, and as they run a mission to get a bunch of wiring to be able to go and trade it over on another planet. It's something like around that. It was something that the pilot of the Millennium Falcon was being given a mission to take a bunch of electrical wiring off to this planet that really needed it, and that they were going to pay him for it. That sounds all nice and fun, doesn't it? That's all very epic that you would expect from Star Wars. No, it isn't. You probably expected something involving Darth Vader or the Death Star. And, well, like this picture where they are actually building the Millennium Falcon at Galaxy's Edge, it's probably just going to be eventually a ghost town. As I agree with other reviewers and other commentators on what is happening at Disney's Galaxy's Edge, that most likely they're just going to rebrand Galaxy's Edge Original Trilogy Land. And this pretty much picture where they showed that they were building Galaxy's Edge, that very soon will be another rebranding, and it will eventually just be, as I've said, the Original Trilogy Land. Here we can see other pictures of, Galaxy's Edge, and you notice something? You hardly see anyone there walking the streets. The Millennium Falcon up there like a trophy that Disney killed and mounted, and no one is admiring it. And I'm glad. They've basically killed this franchise, and no one is happy or willing to give Disney any money for this. And the price for one person going into the theme park a day is about $150 to what sounds like $160 for one person for one ticket. That is indicative of the fact that Disney rose the price thinking that they had a money tree for themselves, or a money well that will just spew money for them constantly. But it looks like the well has gone dry. The tree has died, and someone's come in and cut it down and made a chair out of it. And it doesn't help that Disney also has to deal with the fact that they have a bunch of rabid cats down in Florida at Epcot Center. Not to mention, they are also forcing the parents and children to get their fingerprints taken, as well as their, apparently, retinal scans or something. Something along those lines, and treating them all, the people who are visiting their parks, like criminals. Not to mention, I've also heard that they've been taken to spying on people who are entering and going around the park. And on top of the fact that, as I've said before, but I have more to add to this subject, apparently Disneyland employees are paid so unwell that they're forced to go dumpster diving for food, on top of the fact that their boss, Bob Iger, makes at least hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in his own pocket from the Disney Corporation. And others have ridiculed him for it and have written letters that he should improve the well-being of his employees as well as the park goers themselves. Particularly Abigail Disney has written him, demanding that he improve the lifestyle of his own workers. But he shot back with a bunch of nonsense saying that he pays for free college as well as looking out for employees' children. The typical bull that the CEOs typically spew it out of their mouths. So it's just reached a bit of a stalemate, which Disney has reached basically lately, what with all that they've had to deal with and all the bad press they are getting. On top of the fact that they've still let that grieving father not put that Spider-Man symbol on his son's grave. And all in all, they deserve what they are getting. And I have nothing really to say except, like this one picture of Galaxy's Edge, apparently the most interesting thing about Galaxy's Edge is, a wooden wall. I think that's one of the park places that the employees go to, like, rest and go and do their thing, like the bathrooms. Apparently they decided to put a picture there as well. I mean, yes, it's just a wall with what looks like a painting on it, but It definitely looks more interesting than the Millennium Falcon with no one actually going in it or around it or even looking at the poor thing. Or you can just go to the bar and get drunk. Either way, it ought to make Galaxy's Edge more entertaining. Now, if you like this video, subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed. If you're watching my videos but you have not subscribed, please subscribe to me. Hit that bell for notifications. Subscribe to me at Read Comics They're Bad For You at YouTube, or go to BitChute and subscribe to me there at Comic Freak. Also, hit that like button and leave some comments down below. And keep checking back in future videos for more information on my own upcoming independent comic book, Scumdogs. I'm Chris Williams. I'll be back again tomorrow with another video or review.